Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Ummah Radio. You are listening to the Arabic class with myself, Abu Mus'ab. For those of you who are new to this program, we just started it last week and it continues every Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. GMT. For information on what the class is about, you can visit Ummah Forum. In the top part is Ummah Radio, and in there are the various threads about the different shows. The one in particular is Wednesday dash Arabic class. So the download links for the kitabs and everything is all in that thread there. The book that we have chosen to do in this class is the Madinah Arabic Course, and we are starting with book 1. Last week we started with lesson 1 from the Madinah Arabic Course, book 1. So for those of you who have the book, like I said, you can download it directly from the links on the thread. And for those of you who have it in hardcover, you can follow it that way. And for those who don't have the book at all, you can just follow verbally, and you should be able to pick up something or the other, inshallah. Okay, so last week, lesson 1, we learned about the usage of the word hadha. Hadha is a singular masculine word to describe masculine items or men, folk. Additionally, we also learned the usage of the word ma, which means what. So like ma hadha, what is this? In Arabic, there is no words like is. So the literal verbatim translation would be ma, what, hadha, this, what, this. But in English, we have the word is, so we just apply it like that in the translation as what is this. So that was the main points that we had learned in last week's lesson, the ma and the hadha. We stopped on page 9 of book 1, still continuing with lesson 1. So we'll continue from there again, inshallah. So on page 9, in the middle of the page is now written man hadha, meaning who is this? Man, again, is also a question, and man means who. This is applied both for males or for females. So if you look, you have to follow up actually in the book because there are pictures over there which relates to the class. So here they say man hadha, and next to it is a picture of a man. So they say man hadha, who is this? The reply given in the book is hadha tabibun. This is a doctor. Tabibun means a doctor, and what you learn later on in a coming lesson is that tabibun is referred to a singular male doctor. We call him a tabib. But like I said in the beginning last week, that for the purpose of getting your nahu correct, meaning the ending letter, what harakat, the fatha, dhamma, kasra, fathatain, dhammatain, kasratain, or zabar, zer, pesh, whatever way you prefer to call it, on the ending letter, that is the most important point of nahu. That is why I pronounce the things here in this class as tabibun rather than tabib as we would say in normal speaking Arabic. So in this manner, tabibun means a doctor, but to be more specific, it means a one male doctor. And obviously the picture, like I said, you have to follow up. And the picture there is of a man with a stethoscope around in his ears, showing thereby that he is a doctor. Okay, continuing on. Then comes another picture and it says, man hadha, who is this? The reply given is, hadha waladun. This is a boy. Walad is a boy. Then the next picture he says, man hadha, who is this? The reply given is, hadha talibun. This is a student. Talib means a student. Then he says, ahadha waladun. Is this a boy? The picture is showing it of an adult. So he says, ahadha waladun. Is this a boy? The reply given is, la hadha rajulun. No, this is a man. Okay, so this is the end of page 9. We'll move on to page 10, but just as a reminder, anybody who has any questions, you can post your questions via Skype. The Skype name is Ummah Radio. So if you have a question at any point in time, feel free to pose your question on there and inshallah it will be answered. Okay, continuing on. Page 10. It's still showing with the pictures. So it says, Ma hadha, what is this? The reply given is, hadha masjidun. This is a masjid. Then it says, man hadha, who is this? The reply given is هذا تاجر. This is a businessman. Tajir means a businessman. Then they show a picture and they say هذا كلب. This is a dog. Then comes another picture and they say أهذا كلب. The reply given أهذا كلب. Is this a dog? The reply given is لا هذا قط. No, this is a cat. قط is a cat. Then they show a picture of a donkey and they say هذا حمار. This is a donkey. حمار is a donkey. Then they say أهذا حمار. Is this a donkey? لا هذا حصان. No, this is a horse. حصان is a horse. The last one for the page, he says وما هذا. And what is this? The reply given is هذا جمل. This is a camel. Here, additionally, you learn the new word for today, as you can say, is the word wa. Wa means and in general cases. Wa has additional meanings. There are many different types of this wow, but that will come in a much later lesson. So for now, you can just write down wa as meaning and. So in this case, and what is this? Was the question. Okay, that is the end of page 10. Moving on to page 11, it's still continuing with the same thing, so there's nothing difficult. He then says, Ma hadha, what is this? The reply given is, Hadha dikun. This is a rooster. Dikun means a rooster. Then he says, Man hadha, who is this? The reply is, Hadha mudarrisun. This is a teacher. The last one he says, Ahadha qamisun. Is this a shirt? The reply given is La, Hadha mindilun. No, this is a handkerchief. So again, just to quickly recap the new vocabulary from this lesson, the words we learnt was tabibun, meaning doctor, waladun, meaning boy, talibun, meaning student, rajulun, meaning man, tajirun, meaning shopkeeper, kalbun, meaning dog, qittun, meaning cat, himarun, meaning donkey, hisanun, meaning horse, jamalun, meaning camel, dikun, meaning rooster, mudarrisun, meaning teacher, and mindilun, meaning handkerchief. So here is now the final exercise of lesson number 1, tamrinun, meaning exercise, and he says, Iqra waktub, read and write. Like I mentioned in last week's lesson, this is actually for you as the student yourself to take out the time, even though I do the lesson out here for you as part of the class, but you should take it upon yourself to do your own homework of these things and write it and read it out and write it yourself. Paying attention to putting on the haraka, like I said, the haraka is the fatha, kasra, dhamma, and so on and so forth, on the last ending letter of the word. So I'll give you an example here. Number 1, he says, Ma hadha, what is this? The reply is, Hadha qalamun, this is a pen. Now as you can see with all these examples over here, there's no tashkil on any of them, meaning there's no harakat, no fatha, no kasra, no dhamma, no nothing. So when you are supposed to be reading these things, you are supposed to keep in mind what we have previously learned over these last 10 pages, and that will be able to give you the ability to read these sentences over here without any problem, because there is no new words, and what we learned earlier of how you read the words, in the same manner you will read the words here. So that's one point of reading it. And the second point of writing it is so that, like I said, hadha qalamun with a dhammatain, as you can say, a dopesh on the end. So when you write it, you must write it with the dhammatain on the ending as well. That's the main important point of doing this exercise. All of these exercises here, for that matter. So number 2, he says, hadha kalbun. This is a dog. Number 3, man hadha. Who is this? The reply is, Hadha tabibun. This is a doctor. Number 4, Hadha jamalun. This is a camel. Number 5, Ahadha kalbun. Is this a dog? The reply, La hadha qittun. No, this is a cat. Number 6, Ahadha dikun. Is this a rooster? The reply given is Na'am, meaning yes. Meaning yes, it is a rooster. Number 7, أهذا حصان? Is this a horse? The reply, لا هذا حمار. No, this is a donkey. Number 8, هذا منديل. This is a handkerchief. Number 9, أهذا ولد? Is this a boy? The reply given is نعم, meaning yes. Both this and the previous one of a rooster, the reply given is simply just yes. But you can also say like أهذا ولد? Is this a boy? You could say نعم هذا ولد, but this he'll bring out in a new lesson. But for now, you just want to keep it short and simple. So it says أهذا ولد, and simply the reply is just yes. So yes, it is a boy. And then number 10, he says من هذا? Who is this? The reply is هذا رجل. This is a man. And that is the end of page 11, and it is the end of lesson number 1. Okay, we did very little basically in this lesson. So, and lesson number 2 is also very small. So inshallah, we will continue on to lesson number 2 as well. So lesson number 1, as you could see, it dealt with the singular usage of the word هذا, which is, as I mentioned, for a singular male, whether it's a masculine item or a man himself. Now moving on to lesson number 2, this now teaches you the usage of the word Dhaalika. Dhaalika means that. Other is for something nearby, meaning this, and while Dhaalika is for something which is at a distance, meaning that. So, and again, Dhaalika is singular masculine. There will be a separate word when you are referring to a woman or a feminine item which is at a distance, and obviously, like I said, there is a different word. هذه is the female item, the feminine word for a woman or a feminine item which is close by. And likewise, ذلك is the masculine, and tilka is the feminine, but tilka and هذه and tilka will come in a later lesson. So for now, just remember, lesson number 2, the word ذلك is singular masculine. So the lesson starts, and it shows a picture of a star. Then the question gets posed, and it says, ما ذلك? What is that? Like how we just did the whole lesson of هذا, in the same manner you can replace هذا in all those sentences and put ذلك in there. So it's exactly the same as the word هذا of the previous lesson. So the reply given is ذلك نجم. That is a star. Now he comes and he gives you the usage of last week's, the last previous lesson, and now this new lesson. So he says, هذا مسجد وذلك بيت. This is a masjid and that is a house. As you can see the pictures, the first picture is of a masjid, the second one is of a house. So he's giving you the nearby one is the masjid and the further one away is the house. Therefore, هذا مسجد, this is a masjid, وذلك بيت, and that is a house. The next one he says, هذا حصان وذلك حمار. This is a horse and that is a donkey. Then he says, أذلك كلب? لا, ذلك قط. Is that a dog? No, that is a cat. Last one for the page, he says, ما ذلك? What is that? The reply given is, ذلك سرير. That is a bed. That's the end of page 12. On to page 13, he then says, Man هذا ومن ذلك? Who is this and who is that? He says, هذا مدرس وذلك إمام. This is a teacher and that is an imam. The next one he says, ما ذلك? What is that? The reply given is, ذلك حجر. That is a stone. حجر meaning stone, and imamun meaning an imam, meaning in this case, as the book is showing, an imam, a person leading people in salah. But the literal meaning of imam is a leader. But of course, we won't be translating it as a leader. In this case, we'll translate it simply as imam because everybody understands what an imam is. Likewise, we didn't translate the word masjidun, but the word masjid itself, it has its own linguistic meaning, and masjid means a place of prostration. That is what a masjid is. But obviously we don't translate it that way because everybody knows what is a masjid. So therefore we say this is a masjid, that is a masjid, and so on and so forth. So continuing with the lesson, he says, هذا سكر وذلك لبن. This is sugar and that is milk. Sukkar means sugar and laban means milk. That's the end, so to say, of lesson number 2. Then he does a quick exercise here, and he says tamrinun, meaning exercise. He says اقرأ واكتب, read and write. Number 1, هذا سكر وذلك لبن. This is sugar and that is milk. Number 2, من ذلك, who is that? The reply given is ذلك إمام, that is an imam. Number 3, أذلك قط, is that a cat? The reply given is لا ذلك كلب, no, that is a dog. Number 4, ما هذا, what is this? The reply given is هذا حجر, this is a stone. Now he gives one last thing for the page, and he says al-kalimatul jadidatu, the new words, meaning the new words that were done in this lesson, which we didn't do in the previous lesson. It's only 4, and it is number 1, imamun, which I said literally it means a leader, but how we translate it here for this purpose, we will keep it as being imam. Number 2 is hajarun, which means stone. Number 3 is sukkarun, which means sugar. And number 4 is labanun, which means milk. These are the only new words that we did in this whole lesson here. I think it's better if we stop at this point here, despite the fact that the class has been on for little more than 15 minutes, because the next lesson brings now into play a whole new, something altogether new. These 2 lessons, Dhaalika and Hadha, were quite closely related to one another. But the next lesson, lesson number 3, it deals with definite and indefinite nouns. So it will be something altogether new. If you want to, we can continue. Otherwise, if you prefer to stop, we can stop at this point here and continue on with this new lesson next week, inshallah. Okay, no reply from anyone, so perhaps that means we should go ahead and continue. Okay, in that case, then let us start a bit of lesson number 3. So, ad-darsu thalithu, lesson number 3. Okay, I don't remember if I read the name of lesson number 2, but the name of lesson number 2 is read ad-darsu thani, lesson number 2. So, coming back to lesson number 3, ad-darsu thalithu, lesson number 3. So like I said, this lesson deals with the usage of definite and indefinite nouns. Everything we did previously in the first 2 lessons were only indefinite nouns. As you could see, هذا imamun, this is an imam, this is a stone, this is a bed, this is a sa, this is a dog, and so on and so forth. Everything was indefinite. But now, this lesson will teach you on the usage of making things definite as well. Okay, someone has sent in a thing and say it's better if we stop here. So on that point we will end and we will continue this, or rather start the whole lesson itself next week, inshallah. Anyway, as you can see, the lesson itself, the lessons of this book, it puts it in a very easy, simple manner. As long as you just pay attention and you keep your mind present with you all the time, and you pay attention to everything, and then you do your exercises. Like I say, it's not a compulsory thing that I'm going to be asking you next week, where's your exercises that you've done and your homework and things like that. But it's for your own benefit that you take out the time. You've heard me say it now already and everything, but you should still take out the time to write this exercises, all the exercises over, because it will keep the lesson more firmly in your mind that way. And the thing about this book is that you have to understand each lesson properly in its place as we continue, because from lesson number 1 it was carried on into lesson number 2. Now lesson number 1 and 2 will be carried over into lesson number 3, and lesson number 3 will be carried on to the next one and the next one, right through till the end of the book. Meaning that if you miss out for some reason some lesson because you didn't want to ask any question or something of the sort, then you will regret it later on in the book when you will find you have more difficulty being able to understand, and there will be things that go over your head. So for the sake of understanding everything, it's better if you ask your questions and everything one time as it comes up. If you got any question at any time, don't delay, post your question, and inshallah it can then be answered, and it will make the lesson easier for you to understand that way. So on that point, like I said, we're going to end the lesson here, which is this page number 14, lesson number 3, and that we will start next week, Wednesday again, same time, same place, at 8:30 p.m. GMT, only on Ummah Radio. So as there are no questions or anything of that sort, we will end on that point and we say وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.